Hello, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Zone. I'm your host, Charles E. Hall II, and how is your bracket doing? Mine is not doing too well, but I'm still hanging in there. My winner is still alive, but two of my final four picks are gone. Folks, but that does not matter. We're going to still discuss all the first-round action, everything that took place, as well as other action, as well as NBA drama in regards to Melo and Amari. To my right, I have Stephon Naylor, Jason Smith. We're going to discuss and break it down. Right off the break, everyone is talking about, Sweet 16 and how the Big East went from 11 teams down to 2. The Big 10 went from 7 teams down to, I think, 2 or 3 left. Really, your take, Stephon, so far in the tournament. What has impressed you and what has impressed you? I mean,
it's just been a lot of like it's probably been said time and time again. It's been a lot of upsets. When I saw the Big Ten go down to only like 2, you said 2 teams, something like that. It was really kind of like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? But people. What
is your 2 favorites left? You got 2 favorites.
Yeah,
State, Wisconsin. Two top teams.
Actually, like Marquette, my team Marquette, they still they gonna do something, hopefully, but. But yeah, man. So I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen because a lot of teams been stepping up and just been turning things around and really playing some very good ball.
Very true, Jason. Your take so far?
I think it was kind of just funny how when it came time for all the teams who got left out of the bubble, who started complaining about how there were 11 teams from the Big East and how now there are only 2 left. Pitt losing to Butler, that was kind of crazy. Like,
the ending was crazy.
Yeah, like I wasn't really expecting that at all.
Very questionable ending.
So, I mean, that's the good thing about sports nowadays. I feel like the smaller schools now get bigger athletes to where the bigger schools just had a monopoly on them. And that's always fine.
I mean, you got to remember, though, it's more of it's experience versus talent.
Sure.
The smaller schools, those guys are not going to the NBA off the break. So their seniors, their sophomores and juniors are hanging around to their senior year.
True.
The Dukes and the Carolinas and those big schools, they're getting top flight talent, but a lot of guys are rolling out the 1 or 2 years. So it's a matter of experience versus pure talent. And a lot of times your experience, those guys have experience and they can play, just not as sharp. They won't be lottery picks.
Right.
I mean, you got to factor that in. That's why a lot of these teams that are still rolling, VCU, those guys can ball. They won 3 straight games. Georgetown, they took Georgetown out. They first took out USC, that's a Pac-10 team, then a Big East team. They took down Purdue, that's a Big Ten team. They've got 3 big wins on power conferences. Then you look at Richmond out of Atlantic 10, and granted, A10 is a power conference. It's not really power, but they've known to having some strong teams. Temple looked well in the loss of San Diego State, but they're known to have some good turnouts for the A10. But it's more of a, in my opinion, youth versus experience. But when you factor in those teams with the youth, they have the good, strong players. I mean, the experienced player in BYU, Jimmy Fredette, playing well. Nolan Smith for Duke, the seniors are playing well. I mean, you're getting those senior, the ones that do have that senior experience are going to do well over some teams that may not have been here before.
Sure.
If you look at the Sweet 16, the ACC took 4 teams in. They now have 3 left. FSU surprised, destroying Notre Dame. I mean, I'm gonna tell you one game that caught my eye. Like I said, you mentioned Pitt and Butler. I'm a basketball official. A lot of folks may say, should you swallow your whistle during that time? And some people say, let them play. Well, they let them play. In reality, those were actual fouls. Now, it's a matter of do you have the guts to make that call?
Right.
That's what it comes down to. You have the guts to say, I'm gonna make this call because it will fouls by the book of the law. But the other one, you had buzzer beat the first game of they're calling it the first round playing games, but the first game, you had Butler beating their first win, ODU. That was a buzzer beater win. You had a buzzer beater game when you took out, like just yesterday alone, Arizona's surprising win over Texas. And that 5-second call on Texas to give Arizona a chance to get an and 1. I mean, I don't know. It's been crazy. But is your bracket, your winner that you picked still alive? Any one of y'all?
Yeah, because I really had Duke.
Okay.
Taking it all the way down. That's on one bracket. It had Duke taking it all the way down, but yeah, it's still pretty alive.
Duke, Jason?
I'm a UNC fan. That's what I'm running with. But the way Washington was giving them such problems, like I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Another team with youth. I mean, Washington had experience. They had senior guards, or more, not really seniors, but had senior leadership type guards. As guards that have been there, Isaiah Thomas and so forth, taking on Kendall Marshall in his freshman year. But he's taking the team playing well. That's what it came down to. It was just leadership. I took it from that, and so to speak, they won the game off heart and hustle and guts, because they really played terrible defense at first, but they pulled it out. Duke and Michigan. It's kind of crazy that these teams matched up, especially off the hype from the Fab Five show 2 weeks ago.
It's true.
And then you had the build up with Grant Hill or Jalen Rose talking about how he felt back then. I mean, his comments got taken out of context, that as when he was in high school, he felt that any black player that went to Duke was an Uncle Tom. Of course, Grant Hill heard that and was like, well, ho, that's a slap in my face, and everybody else is slapping. And so to see them two teams play again this past weekend and it'd be a thriller was a good thing. And, seeing Michigan win in gold and Duke in the white, so it was like a turn back the time clock with that one.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, it's some interesting first and second round matchups. I mean, I'm still surprised. I guess the biggest surprise to me is VCU. They won 3 games and they beat 3 power conferences to do it. I mean, in the Southeast, it's wide open. I mean, you just don't know. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about this bracket. We're going to go down region by region and give you what we feel is going on after this brief message.
People are a little surprised when they hear I've medaled in cycling, and that I'm training to compete for Team USA at the Beijing Paralympics. Being born with one hand and forearm, I never thought I couldn't do something, especially in sports. As a member of the U.S. Paralympic elite cycling team, I know how important it is to encourage others to try new things, to share the field of fun and competition, and to be respectful of everyone who wants to play. My name is Greta Namanis, and real athletes show respect.
Folks, welcome back to the Bracket Show. We're going to give you what you need right here. What I've seen and what I've noticed, and we spoke on it earlier, you've got senior leadership in terms of, and I don't just mean senior, I mean like I'm talking about sophomores, juniors, and seniors that have been there before outside of these rookies. Stars are making things happen. You look at BYU, Jimmy Fredette, UConn with Kemba Walker, Nolan Smith with Duke, Dirk Williams for Arizona, playing good ball. Brandon Knight with Kentucky, he got the game winner in the first round game, and they gave West Virginia fits on Saturday as well. Ohio State with the big man Sullinger. I mean, he's the best, one of the best big men in the game. He's a freshman, but he's playing good ball.
That's true.
And of course, if you look at Butler, Matt Howard, he's been there before from last year's squad, and we mentioned earlier Harrison Barnes and Kendall Marshall for Carolina. I mean, players are making impacts. As the Sweet 16 you see left, I mean, I know you said you had Duke, you're Carolina. We're going to go and check and see in terms of coaches. I mean, you look at what you have here. This is where coaches move up. Look at Richmond's coach now. They're winning some games. That coach may be like maybe get a raise, or he may be on a mission to get a raise. You think about it. When you wins like this, exactly. Or your boys in Marquette, Buzz Williams. I mean, BYU's playing well. You very rarely hear people say from BYU they're going to leave and get a big name, but you never know. He may roll out and so forth. But the CAAA, again, is making it happen. I'm going to just continue to say VCU because if you remember when George Mason got there, they were saying they shouldn't have been going because they 2 teams from that conference got in. They didn't win their tournament conference. They got in on the back, and everyone was like, Mason probably shouldn't be there. They went to the Final Four. Now, let's go down in the East region with teams on the left. You have Ohio State, Kentucky, Marquette, and UConn, and North Carolina. And we're just going to go in the East a moment. Let's break down who are you favoring in Ohio State, Kentucky, Jason.
I mean, Ohio State came into this whole thing at the top of the list, so I don't see them getting stopped by Kentucky.
So they're going, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go the exact opposite. I'm gonna say Kentucky, just because of the way this tournament has been going. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that can not easily happen, but it's a great possibility.
It's very because Kentucky's playing with youth. Now, granted, with youth you got exuberance, you got energy, and they have no fear a lot of times, unless it gets close. I mean, Ohio State has youth, but they've got some high quality play. That's going to really be a good game. You factor in just, I mean, it's in the East. No one really has a home court advantage, but Ohio State travels. They're going to bring folks.
All the time.
Kentucky travels.
Yeah.
You look at the other half of that bracket on the East, you got Carolina Marquette. Carolina fans travel. But that's going to be a tough one. I think I'm going to take Ohio State just slightly. I would not be a surprise at all with Kentucky winning that one.
I mean, would you say it's a barn burner or it's going to be a big defense?
I really have not been impressed with Kentucky that much. But Ohio, lately, they've been playing good ball. I mean, Brandon Knight doing this thing at the guard spot. But Kentucky, I guess with them losing a lot of guys, I mean, if you factor in what they would have right now, they were still there.
Right.
John Wall still be there. In a couple. They lost almost half their 5 last year.
Right.
Just about. They lost like 4 starters at least. But I'm gonna say Ohio State just because I have never been so in Kentucky all year, just like that. But they are playing good ball. Marquette, Carolina. I know that's your boys. That's in your heart here on that matchup. Marquette out of the Big East ACC matchup here. What are you gonna see happen here?
I mean, I gotta go UNC. Like, I don't see them having problems until the next round. I know Marquette is your squad and everything, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. Like, UNC is very young, but at the same time, they're very lanky. Like, every time I see them play, they're just really long.
Yeah, they are long. They are a long team. I mean, point guard Kenneth Marshall has upgraded that team big time since Larry Drew left. I mean, they've gone from here to here in a matter of game. He can see the floor big time. He puts in a number of assists, 14 yesterday.
And you still school?
Yeah.
Question. I'm gonna say Marquette because I know that they're gonna. I think is gonna happen is that they're really gonna come out the box right off the jump and just.
I mean, I represent Chi-Town and all too, but
yeah, but that's I have and there's some personal connections with Marquette too. That's why I'm in favor for them. But
I mean, either way, you think about it. Marquette was the 11th seed. They were the last team in the Big East to get in.
And look where they are
I mean,
now.
and they did well in the Big East tournament, but the 11th seed to get 11th team and 11th seed, and they're playing good ball. I mean, I didn't think they would beat Syracuse. They had a good game. They got a big shot in the end, but it's going to be a big matchup. Honestly, I can see Marquette winning that. I'm not sure. I thought Carolina was going to lose to Washington. I mean, I did. I thought I had predicted that on my bracket. Washington beat Carolina. I wasn't sure how long the young studs of Carolina could get the job done. They're balling right now. They've grown up. They're playing excellent ball under Roy Williams. But I think I'm going to take Marquette. I got a funny feeling they might do something out here. I'm going to take Marquette. We're going to slide down to the West. In the West bracket, where to me, this is where all the action is. It was between the East and West in terms of, to me, best brackets, but the West is no soft slouch as well in terms of ticket action. The first game we have here is Duke versus Arizona. Arizona team that, for the first time last year, make the tournament under some crazy coaching situation. They didn't have Lutz Olsen, so that was 25 years almost of straight appearances. They didn't get there, but now they're back. Playing good ball, good guard play against a Duke team that won it last year, the champs, and they got Kyrie Irving back. When was the last time you had a #1 seed getting a dynamite player back for the tournament? That's never happened. So your take?
I mean, Duke is always a superpower. It's like they're the dark side. I always have to fight against them. But that's what it is. I understand they're great, and that's comes with greatness. Like you said, they were a top seed, and they got one of their star players back. So that just lets you know. It wasn't just one star on the team.
He's putting a curse on that squad out there.
Never that.
So you're taking Duke?
Yeah, I must.
I mean, I said it from the beginning. I'm gonna take Duke. Just cause I mean, the biggest thing is when Irving came back. You know what I'm saying? And it just lets me know not only about that team, but just about the school and the type of money that they're probably putting into this program and putting into whatever they need to get this dude back. I'm sure they spent money on top of money for rehabilitation.
That's a subliminal message he's throwing out there. A subliminal message, I think that's what he's trying to say. So you're saying Duke. I'm going to ride with Duke as well. I know it's going to be a tough game. Arizona presents a lot of problems, but I think the Duke backcourt with Irvin there is now been upgraded. I'm just hoping that team attacks the rack more, and I know they will with Irvin there. I know he goes to the rack. But that team shoots a lot of threes, and it scares me sometimes. But because you're living down by that three, it's not going to get the job done. But I'm still taking Duke in a very tight game. Second game, UConn taking on San Diego State. This is going to be a virtual home game of San Diego State playing in Anaheim.